are well known to you. I am going to begin by reading the media statement that we have worked on. It is no exaggeration to assert that the judiciary of South Africa is the custodian and guarantor of our constitutional democracy. In relation to upholding high ethical standards and compliance with the values foundational to our democracy, society has a legitimate expectation that the South African judiciary would not be found wanting. As one privileged to be Chief Justice of this great country, I'm here together with my colleagues to reiterate what I have said many times before, that virtually all measures necessary to insulate judges from corruptibility and secure our fierce independence have been put in place and are constitutionally entrenched all the way into our retirement. Our spouses and partners would also be well looked after past our passing on to another life. I also said and repeat that it would take a thoroughly bad individual, completely bereft of ethics that apply to the organized legal profession and the judiciary, to embrace corruption. Allegations have been made, not only that some judges have received money from CR17 or Bidvest, but also that the judiciary is corrupt. Mr. Natim Nube showed me a tweet by someone who claims to have informed me of certain judges in the Free State High Court who have allegedly been captured by Mr. Ace Mahashule, and that I did nothing about it. We have never received that information. I've been assured by all the provincial leaders of colleagues against whom disturbing allegations of corruption and capture have been made that those allegations are false. In the absence of concrete proof to the contrary, I believe my colleagues, anybody with evidence to support these confidence-damaging allegations that any judge is corrupt or has been captured must stop hiding behind fictional identities or names in media platforms. Please, number one, make your true identity and contact details known to us and the South African public. Tell us which judge has been captured or corrupted and by whom. If money or any benefit was given, how much, when, and produce verifiable documentary or electronic proof to that effect. And for the sake of the South African public that deserves a corruption-free judiciary, be prepared to give evidence, even in a court of law or a commission of inquiry. We are dead against corruption and capture. South Africans need and deserve a credible, independent and truly transparent judiciary to root out these injurious practices. Gratuitous allegations of corruption can only delegitimize the judiciary and imperil our constitutional democracy. I have asked the Secretary General of the Office of the Chief Justice, Ms. Mmesi Josemwe, to ask the National Commissioner of Police, General Kehla Sithole, to use all relevant capacities at his disposal to uncover the real forces behind the mask or masks making apparently gratuitous allegations of corruption or capture against the judiciary. Only a sworn enemy of our constitutional democracy would make allegations so grave against the judiciary without the evidence to back them up. It bears repetition that if you love this country and all of our people, and you have credible evidence of capture or corruption against the judiciary, please share it with us and with the public, and be prepared to testify to its veracity. Thank you for listening. We're ready for questions, and we're not leaving until you are exhausted.
Thank you, Chief Justice and the Judiciary. We're going to take questions. Colleagues, we know you introduce yourself and the media house you represent. I have noted Ms. Mon. I don't see any other hand. Sir, I've noted you. In that order, and this is the last one, right? No, 3. Okay. We'll come back to over to you, ma'am.
Chief Justice, I'm sure you're well aware that certain utterances have been made by political leaders, most notably in the EFF leader, making adverse comments about female judges, which seem to strongly suggest that he was taking issue with the judges that have ruled in favor of Minister Manuel and Ramaphosa in the various matters involving the public protector. As the CJ, do you have concern about the kind of political utterances that about judges? We've seen this in the past in 2015. And what you've said...
Been seen?
We've seen this in the past in 2015 when you had the meeting with then President Zuma. Then the other thing is, do you have any idea yourself where these social media allegations are coming from? Because they seem to be targeted at the judges who have ruled in favor, Trevor Manuel, Cyril Ramaphosa, and Pravin Gordhan. And then lastly, you suggest that you seem to be suggesting that people who perpetuate this kind of narrative about judges, knowing that it is untrue, are effectively committing treason. Is that what you're saying? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chief Justice. I think we'll take these ones first.
Okay. As a matter of principle, we are opposed to any derogatory remarks against judges, female or males, regardless of where they come from. Even if it were to be proven that in a particular judgment a judge was wrong, all responsible South Africans have to do is to criticize that judgment based on their points of disagreement with it. It ought never to be open to any of us to mock at judges, particularly female judges, in this era where people seem to think that it is open to them to treat women as they please. So regardless of who the attacker is, we are dead opposed to any attack against women and all of our colleagues. I don't know what has provoked some of the attacks that we've come across in the media. And I wouldn't want to speculate, but in case my colleagues have got something to add in that regard, I would ask them to.
Sir?
Thank you, Chief Justice. Governor from ENCA. Could you just tell us, at the moment, are there any investigations into what you term judicial capture that are underway by the Judicial Service Commission or any other body?
No, this is how the Judicial Service Commission works. We need somebody who is in a position to support whatever allegations they make against judges to come out. But it would be most unfortunate to confront a colleague with allegations made by faceless people, because somebody needs to testify against the judge when allegations are leveled against them. But if you don't even know who is making those allegations, it becomes problematic. It is for that reason that we've taken it upon ourselves to have the Secretary General approach the National Commissioner of Police, because they have the resources, have the technical we don't have. But whose Twitter account is this? Who is allegations and say, you've made these allegations. Do you have proof? So that whatever steps the law allow us to take against those individuals can be taken. Just imagine what will become of our democracy if these kind of allegations were to remain unattended to. People will think that we know that they are true, and that is why we keep them quiet. Other people, for instance, might be critical of us for having called this press conference and say, you're now legitimizing these allegations, you're giving oxygen to things that ought to be treated with the contempt that they deserve. No. They have been coming and coming and coming, and from the look of things, it doesn't look like there's going to be any end to them. It is therefore necessary for us to challenge those who believe that they have evidence to say, well, in case we don't know enough, come up with your evidence. So, to round up my point, we've approached the police. They are best placed to investigate. They must investigate, identify those behind the allegations so that they can be dealt with appropriately.
Thank you, sir.
Chief Justice, Nirayan Tulsi from Newframe.
Yes.
I'm just following up on Karen's question regarding Mr. Malema. He's a member of the Judicial Service Commission, which does interview prospective judges for appointment. Can you comment on his behavior specifically as a member of the JSC, and have you engaged with him on his utterances? And secondly, I think this trend on social media is this anti-factual kind of fake news trend is not about evidence. It never is. It is really about kind of people hiding behind personas, as you pointed out. And I'm just wondering, aside from the police, is there any attempt to get a hold of people like organizations like Twitter, etc., to try and find out what exactly is going on, who these trolls or bots are, and who's behind it?
Thank you very much. Let me start with the last question. Speaking for myself, I'm so ignorant of how Twitter works because I'm not even in that space that I wouldn't know where to start. I wouldn't know who to approach and what kind of questions will help me to get to the bottom of the allegations that I seek to be investigated. I thought the police, because it's part of their training to investigate, and they also have forensic capabilities, I thought they would either know how to investigate this matter, or if they don't have the capacity, they would know who is best placed to help them investigate this matter. Now, so that is why we have not done anything ourselves, because we don't know what to do. We're not in the field of investigating. Now, I haven't engaged with Mr. Malema. Mr. Malema was deployed by another arm of the state, Parliament. And I believe that it's for Parliament to investigate whatever needs to be investigated against Mr. Malema. He is not answerable to me. He is answerable to Parliament and to the people of South Africa. The Speaker of the National Assembly, of which Mr. Malema is a part, is a member of the Judicial Service Commission, and I know her to be a person who is deeply committed to what the Judicial Service Commission is about. And I take it that she will do whatever is necessary together with other members of Parliament to look into whatever needs to be looked into.
Are there any other questions?
Chief Justice, there were very serious allegations made by the State Capture Commission, the Free State Commission, and how it's been captured made by, I think it's the police fund. Of course, he spoke to the lens that, he can even find people to give some sort of evidence with regards to that. So, are you going to be looking at all into that issue?
Well, we want to get to the bottom of any allegation relating to state capture that involves the judiciary. What we want to know is who has been captured, and what do you mean they have been captured? Were they given money? You know, very much in line with our statements, because it's easy to make allegations, my brother. What do you mean the judges have been captured? What happened? On which day? And to what end, if you know? We want somebody to come up like Mr. Dugwana and say, judges so and so and so and so and so and so have done this, that, and that, or they have received this money from so and so, or they were in regular meetings with this particular person and this is what has been transpiring. Evidence that will help us realize that truly there's something inappropriate here. So we're waiting to hear more from Mr. Dugwana. I'm not aware that he mentioned names. He just said judges. The judge president is here. JP, maybe you want to deal with that issue.
Yes, thank you, Chief Justice.
Come closer.
I think when it comes to Mr. Dukwana, I've issued a statement on the 29th of August this year pertaining to his testimony at the State Capture Commission. He, in essence, made 2 points. The first one related to the defamation case that Mr. Ace Magashule lodged at the High Court in the Free State. And he insinuated that the wrong forum was used, or the Bloemfontein High Court was used, because the judges there are pliant and would give an outcome favorable to Mr. Magashule. I've looked at the matter, and I've said it in the statement. The case emanates from a statement that was lodged by Mr. Ngulana, who is the respondent in the matter, at the Electoral Court. Now, in terms of the rules governing proceedings in the Electoral Court, all original statements must be lodged at that court. And that court's seat is at the Supreme Court of Appeal, which is in Bloemfontein. And for that reason, Bloemfontein High Court had jurisdiction, or has jurisdiction, to deal with the matter. And those are the allegations in the matter. The matter is defended. Mr. Ngulwana, who is the respondent, filed a notice to oppose the matter. The second issue. One, he said the judges had business with the provincial administration when they were private practitioners. They were not judges at the time. Then he said judges' wives are doing business with the provincial administration. We have no names. None of the judges in the Free State Division, and I spoke to the judges, know of any of their wives who are currently doing business with the provincial administration. Again, it was just a gratuitous statement thrown out there, an innuendo without substance. Thank you.
Do you see any hands in there? Okay. I know you, madam. You can go ahead when you say it.
Hi, Chief Justice. I'm Claudie from Business Day. I just wanted to find out, would you characterize this as an attack on the judiciary from where you're sitting? And then just what would you want to see, what action would you want to see taken if you guys are able to, if the police is able to trace the identity of the people behind these anonymous accounts? What action would you want to see taken? Thank you.
Well, it would be an attack on the judiciary if there is no evidence. I don't want to rush to that conclusion because I assume that people believe that they have evidence. That's why we are challenging them to come up with the evidence that they have and to come out of hiding and demonstrate to the South African public that they deserve to be believed. Once their identity has been uncovered, we would then explore the possibility of criminal charges against them. And to the extent that they have mentioned certain judges, I would imagine that those colleagues are going to sue for damages, because nobody wants his name or her name to be bandied around as this judge who is secretly receiving money from all sorts of quotas as alleged here. So it's early days. We don't know exactly what charges would have to be preferred against them. Once their identity is known, we will then look into what charges, and I believe the police will do the preliminary work of identifying charges that are appropriate under the circumstances.
Chief Justice, my name is Mutsile Rahube. I am a businessman based in Limpopo. We've been seeing you all the time, inviting us to come if we have information that we are still requesting. I have with me here information that I've documented, and that will show you the injustice we are experiencing as business people because of the shenanigans that's happening in your court. I don't know whether to hand it over to you now or later.
Yes. Well, I hand it over, but before you step down, let me put these questions to you. Do you have names of judges who are involved in wrongdoing? Do you have evidence to back them up? Do you have the kind of evidence that says so and so received so much money from such and such a person on this day? That's what we need.
Well, I do have a concrete evidence.
It is there.
Yeah, it's there.
That's what we need. And we are not going to hide it. The media, I'm inviting you to insist on receiving copies of the documents. We've got nothing to hide. So, in fact, you are free to share it with the media yourself. Here he is. Ask him to give it to you so that it doesn't look like we've corrupted information in some way. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. That's what we need.
Is there any other question over to ma'am? The lady over here.
Chief Justice, my name is Jeanette Chabalala from News 24. You mentioned the Judicial Service Commission. Now there has been a complaint against our Western Cape Judge, President Trope. Now 10 years later, nothing has been done. Now can South Africans have faith in the commission?
Well, you know, I think whether South Africans are to have faith in the commission in relation to Judge President Hlophe's matter or Judge Motata's matter, they need to look at the process. There is an assumption out there that because we are the commission, somehow we have the power to tell judges, because they are judges, you want to challenge the decisions that have been taken, you are not allowed. The right to approach courts, the constitutional right to approach courts when you have a grievance doesn't belong to you. We don't have that power. Every South African, even if it is me, when I believe that I have a legitimate case, is entitled to approach a court of law. Now, where is the Hlophe matter? Where is the Motata matter? The substantial part of the delays has been occasioned by one challenge after the other in the courts of law. And I challenge any lawyer, by the way, and the media to approach any lawyer to tell us what is it that we as the commission could have done that we have failed to do to accelerate the finalization of the matter. Because it's all very easy to look at things broadly and say, yes, you people say you are committed to addressing wrongs within the judiciary. The complaint was lodged during this year. Where are you? This happened, by the way. I think it was when Chaskalson or Langa was Chief Justice? Langa was Chief Justice. Chief Justice Ngobo came. I inherited all these matters. And it has been because the mechanism for disciplining judges is new. So everybody was testing the system. That's why it took so long. Anybody who knows what we could have done, tell us what is it that we could have done. Because it's easy to assume that people are involved in some dereliction of duty. They don't care about finalizing matters particularly because it is their colleagues involved. We want to deal with anybody against whom allegations have been made, and we want to finalize those matters. Happily, we will be making an announcement about another that I haven't referred to, on top of many others that we have finalized, by the way, that have been referred to the JSC. Those are not the only matters serving before us. We've been able to finalize others that did not go through a long process of legal challenges like these ones. You would recall that even constitutional court judges who were supposed to testify challenged the matter all the way up to the Constitutional Court twice. What do you do? No, they may want something from you as well.